How's it going, Clippers fans? Welcome to a pretty late, just post-game decompression session after the Clippers, I would say a little bit surprisingly, beat the Nuggets by 34 points. I just got back from Intuit, where first and foremost, we're going to talk a little bit about what happened on the court. Hats off to the fans. Hats off to the wall and the wall leader. Everyone who was in that building tonight absolutely brought it. From the players to the crowd, it was phenomenal all the way around. I did not know what I totally expected. I knew it was going to be loud. I knew the energy was going to be in the building, but god damn, was it fantastic to see in person for the first time. The Clippers absolutely, again, just crushed the Nuggets after a pretty back and forth start to this game. This game started like a rock fight. The Nuggets were in a zone to start, which was really weird. They were packing the paint. The Clippers were kind of just trading buckets. And then they just pulled away. There was a flurry. Oh my God. I just can't even. Let's look at the basics, I guess. The basics that we talked about before this series were if the Clippers can control the turnovers, and if they can be competent on the boards, things would be okay. Well, tonight, they did both of those things. They won turnovers by 6. They won boards by 10. I would bet that every game that they have won boards by 10 and turnovers by 6, they have won. But I don't think every game they've played against the fourth best offense in the league. Clippers shot 48% from the field in this one, 46% from 3. There was a stretch in this game, I want to say halfway through the second, where the Nuggets couldn't buy a 3. Nico Batum, I think, hit 2 or 3 in the second. And it felt good. I like what that Mexican Nara is saying here. Up 20 and still at the edge of my seat, as all Clippers fans were. This game didn't really feel like I was in the building, and even in the building, it was a little, what's going to happen here? So yeah, shout out that Mexican Nara. I'm celebrating a little bit. I do have to work tomorrow, but whatever. In the third quarter, I don't know. I don't even know when I believe they were actually going to win this game. At one, but they went on a 17-point run. I just can't. And again, this game started. This game started as if the Nuggets were trying to prove something, which makes sense. It's the playoffs. They came out really crisp. They came out focused, trying to match the energy of the wall. And the Clippers came out a little frantic. The start of this game was not necessarily pretty. The Nuggets got some easy buckets to open this one. Jokic, I think, had 7 assists in the first quarter, which is a lot to overcome. He finished with 13. But the Clippers locked in everywhere they needed to. They held onto the ball. The defense by Chris Dunn, we're going to talk about Kawhi, we're going to talk about Harden, all that stuff. Chris Dunn and Nico Batum were unbelievable in this game for the Clippers. They had a couple shifts together where it was going to be impossible for the Nuggets to do whatever they wanted to do when these two guys were on the floor tonight. Everyone was playing cohesively on the defensive end. There was no, I don't think there was a bad decision made for 3 quarters, for sure. On defense, Dunn drew a quick foul, which was a little scary. I thought Ty Lue made a really good sub. There was like a minute and 40 left in the second quarter, and Dunn and Zoo both had 2 fouls. And it just felt like, well, shit, if you're the Nuggets, why would you not go straight at them? Ty Lue subbed him out. Nothing really affected the lead wasn't changed. I liked that move by Ty Lue. Ty Lue gave credit to the fans post game. He said our fans were unbelievable tonight. They came out, they showed up and showed out. Credit to James Harden, 1 turnover. Incredible call. 1 turnover. Finished with 29 assists and 1 dime. Ty Lue postgame said it was just a masterclass in taking what the defense gives you. And it was, because the Nuggets changed up a lot of stuff. Again, the Nuggets started this game in zone, which if you've watched the Clippers for long enough, you get kind of scared when the other teams go into zone because the Clippers look bad. And to start this game, it worked. They had MPJ in the middle of the paint for the zone. The length was there. Things were being disrupted. And it looked like it was like, oh, shit, I'm not feeling super good about this. The Clippers had 3 turnovers of their 10. Oh, excuse me, of their 6. No, wait, I'm tripping out. How many turnovers did they have in the first? They had 2 turnovers in the first of their 10. Okay, so maybe not as bad as I thought, but they happened early. Kawhi didn't shoot that efficiently tonight, but that did not matter. He took 17 shots, most on the team by 3. Harden didn't shoot that well either. Harden was very good from outside. So was Kawhi. That's where they made up for it. Zoo's double streak came to an end, which sucks. Yeah. Thank you, Nick Ramos. You know it's a good game when you're happy about Eubanks and Millsman. It's the Australian duo for dedicated happy hour live listeners. Patty Mills hit a 3, which the vibes were phenomenal then. No, I don't know. I feel almost at a loss of words from this game. At halftime, this is what's crazy. At halftime, both teams had 4 turnovers. Both teams had 9 offensive rebounds. 10 field goals inside the paint each. But the Clippers were 12 for 22 at half from 3. It was unbelievable. You know who came in and really helped the Clippers? Russell Westbrook. 1 of 5 from 3 before exiting the game due to an ankle sprain that he suffered in warmups. But shout out Russ for being minus 16 in 8 minutes. That's when the game changed. You just saw there was bad decision making on the Nuggets' part. I'm not going to say they were rattled or anything like that, but guys the depth isn't there for them. It's just not. There we go. Now we're referencing what M talked about. The back-to-back threes that Harden hit. The Clippers and 5 crew, which I was not a part of, no disrespect to our Clippers, obviously, but they're thriving right now. I still think we're going to get a crazy Jokic game, I think. This has been a really bad series for the most part in Jokic terms for Jokic. He had 23, 13, and 13 tonight, and you look at it and you say, he didn't play very well. And he didn't. He looked gassed. Everyone for the Nuggets looked exhausted. I think a big win for the Clippers in this game was the fact that Aaron Gordon took more field goal attempts than Jamal Murray, which we'll live with every time, I'm pretty sure. Michael Porter Jr. hurt, went back to the locker room at the end of this game. He got fell on by Chris Dunn, and he was questionable. It was a game time decision. He played, did not look right. If they can't have Michael Porter Jr. play on Saturday, I think the Clippers will probably win. I don't know if it'll be a 34-point blowout, but tonight was what a lot of us talked about before this series started, right? It's the depth. I got some heat before the series started by saying maybe the gap between Kawhi and Jokic was as big as we thought. But the gap between everyone else below Kawhi and Jokic favors the Clippers. We're not going to get another night where they only make 7 threes. I'm aware of that. But they don't have anyone to guard our guys, right? Like, it's just that this is when you see the real adjustments break, I guess. We're going to wait for some stats on the double teams and showing versus not showing in the pick, or switching versus showing in the pick and roll. We'll talk about that on another happy hour stream tomorrow. Just everyone played well tonight. Bogey was fine. Bogey will get his groove back, but it's also fine that he didn't, because everyone played exactly to their role and maybe a little bit above their role. Is it time to sit Bogey and give Coffee some time? We have to give Bogey more time. Amir Coffee didn't play. He's the only guy who didn't play for the Clippers. So I do not think Amir is anywhere close to sniffing this rotation right now. The Clippers are up 2-1. I think we do need to remember that part. And so when you're up 2-1, you can afford to do things like have Bogey try and figure it out. I would have liked Bogey to play in garbage time of this one, if I'm being totally honest, because that's when you can see the shots fall. Scott Tran talking about Norm Powell. Haven't even talked about him yet. He hit his first three, and it kind of felt like, okay, it's going to be fine. When Norm hit the first three, I was kind of like, yeah, okay. I'm feeling great about. I'm good about Norm. Uh-oh. Hold on. I got to put my damn headphones in. We got some backup coming in. William Updike, how the hell are you doing, buddy?
Oh man, good. Just got back from Inglewood. What a trek that is.
You're here to talk about the traffic and nothing else.
Did anything else happen tonight?
I was just talking about Norm and how that first three, when that went in, it kind of felt like, okay, this is going to be pretty okay, I think.
Yeah, honestly, the thing for me was that challenge. When Ty Lue threw down the first challenge early, I was really nervous right away that we'd have already lost that. And if it was another game,
challenge.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a great call. It was a great call. It was well done. But it was one of those things where, like, if it hadn't gone our way, and we would have lost the challenge that early. Not to say that we would lose the game, but it just felt like since the series had been so close thus far, it felt like a dangerous territory to be in.
Yeah.
But yeah, Norm getting it going was, one of the hugest things here. Like, we had one of the best non-Kawhi plus minus lineups of the entire series, because like Norm and Harden were absolutely cooking, and Nico was as well. That 12-minute Nico stretch where they were able to not have Kawhi on the floor, and that unit went plus 11 with what was it? It was Harden. It was Harden, Norm,
Nico. Was it DJ?
DJ Simmons was the lineup. And it was, it was incredible. I mean, it was a huge turning point for the game. And obviously, like I said, Norm and Harden did a lot of heavy lifting in that lineup. But it was incredible. It was huge.
I thought another nice rotation thing in this was, I don't think Bogey played at all in the first. He let Norm go in the first. Norm played the whole first. He had 8 points. And I loved that from Ty Lue, because it was like, let him feel what it feels like to have the shot go in. Let him keep that momentum from the fourth. Jeffrey Ann asking, yo, Chuck, were you in section M2? Could have sworn I saw you at the end of the game. We were up in the terrace. They put the media who is not worth sitting in the rows up in the terrace. So if you're up in the terrace on Saturday, come say what's up. That's where we're at with our no outlets. What was your favorite? What I was just saying before you got on, like, I don't know what to talk about because everything went well. I don't think it's going to go this well on Saturday unless MPJ is out, because he did go back to the locker room at the end of this game. What was your favorite thing, I guess, other than the crowd and the moment and all that stuff?
Defensively, they were on a string. Like, it was, just the switching and any sort of recoveries were really, really good. They were able to overcome some of the rebounding issues that they had from the first two games. So that, to me, like, it looked, you could just tell that Denver was really, really flummoxed. Like, they did not have a lot of answers. And then to get like offensive explosions from Powell and Harden, I mean, really capped the thing. And then, I mean, Kawhi had like a great complete game all around, not his highest scoring outing of the series thus far. And I do expect him to kind of go off a little bit more, maybe get leaned on a little bit more in that game 4, which is, I mean, I don't want to say it's a must win, but it's like, it's pretty damn close. I would say you get the win on Saturday and like you sealed the series, even though I know that we have a history of being up 3-1 on the Nuggets. We
I
have
don't
a
even know
history
what
in
the hell
general
I
being
don't even.
being up 3-1. But I this is a different Denver team. This is a different Clippers team. They've been rolling at a different level, and it just looks like they found enough ways to sort of mitigate to the best that you can, the Murray Jokic pick and roll, and
Oh, so
there's just
go
not
ahead.
there's just not a lot of other answers that Denver has. And we were talking about that in the media room. Justin Russo brought up a fantastic point. Like, what buttons can you even press if you're Adelman? What is the sub? Like, what do you have to kind of give a different look? And honestly, they just don't have a lot of answers when this team, especially the role players, are like hitting the way that they are. Because this team, the Clippers team, was to me a
Whole team.
clearly deeper team,
Yeah.
in the rotation. Obviously, you could say the ceiling is higher on the Nuggets because of Jokic and how effective they were. He and Murray were through 2 games, but like, this is the deeper team, and I think that was like a real shining moment of this game. It's like we finally got those kind of performances out of the role players, Bogey being the exception.
Yeah, but he'll figure it out. He got 10 minutes. We won by 34. It's fine. I'm going to get to this question by Jonathan Gonzalez, which is awesome. Dude, there was a point in this game where it literally was just Jokic and Murray, and then the 3 other Nuggets were just standing there.
Yeah.
Like, it was only Jokic. Once they got down by 20, whatever, you just saw the deer in the headlights vibes hitting them. Jonathan Gonzalez asking, what are the 3 reasons why the Clips won? I talked about this a little bit off top, and I'll give 2, Will, if you want to give 1. Or turnovers and rebounds. We talked about it before this series. If the Clippers hold on to the ball and they can do their best on the glass and try and break even, they'll probably win. You can set your defense when you're not turning the ball over. You just get more possessions when you get boards. Like, those were my 2. What's your 1 reason, or 3? I guess I don't know. It's for happy hour stream. Who gives a shit? Thank you for the question, Jonathan.
Yeah, the rebounding and holding on to the ball was huge. Like I said, to me, it just comes back to like getting more elevated play down the bench. And obviously, shooting 46% from 3 as a team is always going to be a good thing. But yeah, to me, it was that. Like, I thought the level of play was elevated just throughout the entire rotation. And we got a lot out of everybody. Dunn shot the ball well. DJ was great up, on both ends of the floor. I thought this was one of his better games of this series so far. And Simmons wasn't making mistakes. I know his box score didn't jump out, but
he was great though, man. Picking up Jokic full court.
I really like that. And I really like that role for him moving forward, is like sort of just like, at the bare minimum, if he can like be an irritant on an offensive big man and just make life more difficult, I think that there's a place in the rotation for him just to do that.
100%. 10 minutes, an effective 10 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Mike Dang bringing up a great point, which goes to kind of Ben Simmons' activity. All these active minutes for Jokic taking its toll.
Yeah, he did look tired at times in this game, and we talked about it at the game. We talked about it with Dr. Shep, but it just like, he was not really looking to work in the post in the way that we normally see Jokic go to work. Like, he was kind of happy to settle for some longer mid-range shots, which that's a shot you'll concede.
Yeah.
And he still was able to get his teammates going. I can't remember how many assists he finished with, but it wasn't quite the same. To me, it just didn't feel the same as the way he kind of uses a little bit of bully and finesse around in the post. It just didn't look the same to me, and I was wondering if he was sort of gassed.
Well, and you could tell, like, I don't want to call it a fake comeback thing, but when he came in late, he started really like bringing the ball up quick, playing with force, but they were down 25 at that point or something like that, where it was like, okay, I guess this is the one last big energy push from Jokic, because they're getting nothing from anybody else. And I don't even think that's that hyperbole. Their supporting cast, how many bench points did they have? 4? And I think 2 of them came in garbage time. They had 4 bench points. No, they might have had less. They had 5 because Russ hit a 3 and Peyton Watson, who supposedly was going to make Kawhi's life difficult, kind of did. Kawhi didn't shoot that well. Had 2. They had 5 bench points tonight. 6 if you count Zeke Naji, but that was when they were down 35. Yeah, man. This feels good. People in the chat are talking about facilitator Kawhi, which we've seen be not very good. We've seen Kawhi kind of turn the ball over, but 6-2 assist to turnover for Kawhi with the 11 boards. Like, again, not the most efficient shooting night outside from 3 and the free throw line, but Kawhi had a really good.
But were those all corner threes? At least 2 of them were.
Yeah, he was feeling it in the corner. Yeah, I just like, yeah, the Nuggets don't have the defenders to defend the Clippers, especially if Norm is hitting shots.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think that's why, I think that's why I was so confident coming into this series. I mean, not as confident as Justin Rousseau, who called Clippers in 5, and it's looking. I mean, it's still very much alive. But I felt really, really confident, and through game 1 and 2 until like the fourth quarter, we didn't really get what I expected out of Norm.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like this point from Joe Def. Kawhi and Zeus starting the second was a great adjustment. The second quarter, they came out and blew the doors off. Like, that is when the end of the first was huge with those Harden threes. The start of the second, it was just like, oh shit, okay, like, we have achieved. I mean, you could say, given the stakes and everything involved with it, that was maybe the best game the Clippers played all year.
I mean, it certainly looked like it.
All things considered,
it certainly looked like it. Yeah. Just a very complete win.
Shout out Sam Franks. Love how there was a lot of Clipper legends in the building. DeAndre Jordan got to witness this game up close and personal. CP3 was there. Pat Bev was there. It was awesome. It was fucking awesome. Is it weird? Because nothing really went poorly for the Clippers, right? Like, there's nothing in this game specifically that you're like, oh, I wish this would have been better. You obviously wish Bogey would have made shots.
Yeah.
But that's a fixable. That's not that far out of the realm of fixes, right? Like, we're not talking about like 20 turnovers.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, at the end of the day, like you brought up, it was only 10 minutes. He only took 3 shots. So it's, it's kind of like, it's not the end of the world. Like, it's not terrible. I had kind of picked him as my player of the game. I thought that this would be one for him to get going, but I think the rotation adjustment of him not coming into the second quarter was great. Obviously, it helped that Norm was good, right? Like, that's why we've been seeing more Bogey minutes, because if Norm isn't hitting, what do? You need another shooter out there. You need some additional offense, because you can't. You have Chris Dunn and Zoo out there the majority of the time. So you already have 2 non-shooters. So you got to have another sort of offensive ace in your pocket. And like, really, those are the 2 options. So that is another reason. Like, Bogey is definitely, I don't want to say a victim, because that's not the right word, but his minutes and touches are obviously going to see a decline when Norm is playing that well, and that's a good thing. Like, that's a great thing.
Yeah,
it's not a bad thing. So
people were talking about, like, should Amir come in for Bogey, and it's like, well, Amir didn't play at all in garbage time, so I don't even think that's a remote possibility.
Yeah, do we know like what the stats was of his injuries? Anyways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He wasn't going to be in the playoff rotation, and that is that is what it is. I again, his shooting definitely looks better. He's just not, he doesn't have like the same north-south ability or the ball handling skills of either Norm or Bogey. So it's kind of like,
and his defense has been bad this year.
He's
been fouling a lot. Gregarious with a good point. Free throws down the stretch. The Clippers were up like 20 or something like that, but they were missing free throws. And I think we were all kind of like, it would be nice to make those free throws, obviously. I was going to be bummed. The Clippers almost went into the fourth up less than 20. Which in the modern NBA against an offense like the Nuggets, you're like, well, shit, I don't. Thankfully, Nico hit a 3 at the end of the third, and they were up 20, so it was fine. Yeah, people in the chat talking about the free throws. I like this too. Let's not play with our food.
Yeah.
3 p.m. We need to come out. We need to almost not forget. You know how when there's a bad game, Ty Lue was like, this is a burn the tape game. This is the good version of that. Because I don't think Ty Lue and the Clippers are not resting on their laurels from this game.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a lot to be learned. Like the rotation thing is great. Again, so much went well that, like, is it indicative of something that you can continue to return to? But defensively, I think there's a lot to take away from this and how they approach that game, how they were able to communicate. And like I said, like some of the recoveries and stuff were really, really impressive when they got, beat on a screen or something. The way that they were able to recover, I thought was impressive. And they still managed to contain that pick and roll and at times send doubles. And it wasn't at the expense of rebounding, which
which was an effort thing. It was like that thing where it's like, I think that is
partially, I think that is partially an effort thing. And I mean, that obviously gets more difficult as the series goes on. I guess the other thing to think about too is you want to keep taking these cracks at the rotation because obviously the end line goal is not just this series. So I guess like I'm excited to see more sort of pairings and how they can continue to both keep these rotation guys in rhythm and sort of find other additional avenues if things aren't working.
Yeah. I like this point by Glove S. The only way the Nuggets defense can compete is by deliberately leaving a man open. And they left what did Dunn shoot tonight? Dunn took 4 threes. I'm fine with that. He made 2 of them, which is great. Dunn also had 8 boards. It's like it just feels like it's lining up after these first 2, because the first 2 games, Adam said this, and I think I agreed with it too. The first 2 games were weird in which the team that lost game 1 and the team that lost game 2 both shot they could have won those games, right? As a Clippers fan, you think, wow, we could be up 3-0 right now because we didn't, we probably should have won game 1. And Nuggets fans like, wow, we stole game 1, probably should have won game 2 when you look at the rebounding numbers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But tonight there was absolutely no question. Hopefully on Saturday it's the same scenario. I tweeted this, but there's a chance that with the way that playoff basketball goes, maybe Saturday it's like 86-84. Like maybe we get like some weird ass anomaly, but I don't know. Any final thoughts? I'm sorry, I'm tired. I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts about how we're feeling? We're gonna do another stream tomorrow as we get closer to the Saturday game. But
I mean, it feels great. Like it feels great. I definitely feel way more confident in the series. Like I didn't lose confidence that we would win the series. I just thought it might, my prediction of 6 might be wrong. And if it got drug out to 7, that makes you worry even more about that second round. But I'm feeling like they're on course right now, but the job isn't done. So
job's not finished. Yeah, I'm feeling ecstatic. I don't know any Nuggets fans, but I'm going to befriend one tomorrow and just ask them how they're doing so I can be a dick. All right, that wraps up the happy hour stream. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to put this out on audio later. We're going to do a stream tomorrow at some point. Going to hang out, bring your favorite drink. Subscribe to youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast if you want to hang out. Go watch Adam. He might be streaming for the next 7 hours.
He has you covered.
He absolutely has you covered. Shout out to the crowd at Intuit. Shout out to the wall. Incredibly effective, made their presence known.
Shout out first game at Intuit. That was, I mean, God, it was impressive. It was loud as hell.
Dude, it was insane. All right, we're ending on this Jonathan Gonzalez. Also, shout out Jonathan Gonzalez. I think this is the first stream you've been in. You asked a good question. You have good final thoughts. Final thoughts. It's not over yet. Clips need to stay locked in and finish strong. You nailed it. Here's to winning rebounds and turnovers again on Saturday. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And as always,